Music. They say the truth always comes to light, but I never thought it would crash into me like a freight train. My name's Joseph, and a few months ago, I found out my wife, Clara, was cheating on me. When the truth finally came out, it didn't just come to light. It exploded in vivid, undeniable color. It all started with a gut feeling. Clara was acting differently, distant, distracted. She'd always been glued to her phone, like most people these days, but suddenly she'd started leaving it face down on the table or conveniently forgetting it in another room whenever we were together. She began skipping family gatherings, claiming she was working late or needing time for herself. I trusted her because we'd been married for 5 years. At least, I wanted to trust her. Then came the night when she said she had a work dinner. Something didn't sit right with me. Her phone's location was still shared with me, a feature we'd turned on years ago during a hiking trip but had never thought to disable. Out of curiosity, I checked. She wasn't at a restaurant. She was at a residential address. My heart sank. I tried convincing myself there was an innocent explanation. Maybe it was a co-worker's house, but doubt clawed at me. Over the next week, I noticed the same patterns. Late nights, flimsy excuses, and that same address popping up again. A quick search revealed who lived there: Anthony. He was someone I vaguely recognized from photos Clara had posted with her friend group. He wasn't just any friend, though. He was one of only 2 men who hung out with her mostly female circle, and they'd known him since college. It was him. It had to be. I needed concrete proof before taking action. That's where my tech-savvy friend came in. For privacy's sake, I'll keep his name out of this, but he helped me gather everything: texts, pictures, timestamps. The messages weren't just casual. They were explicit, intimate, and left no doubt. This wasn't a one-time mistake. It was an ongoing affair. We also dug into Anthony's life and discovered he wasn't just involved with Clara. He had a history of messing around with married women. My shock gave way to anger. I wasn't going to let Clara or Anthony get away with this. They needed to face the consequences, and I knew just how to make that happen. Clara had been avoiding family events for months, and there was a big dinner coming up at my parents' house. When she said she needed a girls' night instead, I played along, pretending to believe her. But inside, I was preparing for the perfect moment to expose the truth. The night of the dinner, I made sure everyone was there: my parents, siblings, close friends, Clara's parents, and even her best friend. Funny thing about that girls' night, her best friend was right there with us. Before the meal began, I stepped out onto the patio and called Clara. No answer. I wasn't surprised. She was busy. So I used a little trick my hacker friend had shown me and spoofed Anthony's boss's phone number to FaceTime him. He answered after a few rings, and there she was, Clara, in the background. Her face turned ghostly pale when she realized it was me. "Anthony," I said calmly, "do me a favor and put me on speaker." "What? Who is this? What's going on?" he stammered. "Speaker. Now, trust me. You don't want me to make this worse for you." Reluctantly, he complied. I could hear Clara whispering, "Don't do it." But it was too late. I switched my phone to speaker mode and walked back into the dining room, where everyone was seated and waiting. "Clara," I said loudly, "how's your girls' night going?" "Funny, because you're clearly at Anthony's house." The room went dead silent. Every pair of eyes was on me. Clara's voice cracked through the phone, trembling. "Joseph, I can explain." "No," I interrupted. "No more lies. For months, my wife has been cheating on me with this man, Anthony. While I've been working at home or here with all of you, she's been with him." The silence in the room was deafening, broken only by Clara's dramatic sobbing. Anthony tried to chime in, mumbling something about how this wasn't the time or place. "You don't get to decide that, Anthony," I shot back. "You and Clara made your choices, and now everyone knows." I turned to Clara, her tear-streaked face failing to stir any sympathy in me. "I'm filing for divorce. You'll be hearing from my lawyer." Then I addressed Anthony directly. And as for you, enjoy the mess you created. Oh, and expect to hear from some other angry husbands. I ended the call and immediately sent a message to my friend, instructing him to unleash the evidence. Every husband who had been wronged received the damning proof of their wives' infidelity. With that, I set my phone down on the table. The room remained silent. The weight of what had just unfolded hung thick in the air, sinking into everyone present. Then my mom stood up and embraced me. My dad followed shortly after, and one by one, my family and even Clara's family surrounded me, offering their support. Clara, meanwhile, was left sitting alone, forced to confront the wreckage of her own choices. The fallout was messy. Clara begged me to reconsider, tearfully claiming that it had all been a mistake and that she still loved me. But I wasn't interested. Love doesn't come with betrayal. Her pleas fell on deaf ears. As for Anthony, he wasn't spared either. A few furious husbands decided to pay him a visit. Word got around that one particular confrontation left him hospitalized after being cornered by 3 of them. Not long after, he vanished from Clara's life entirely, proving that whatever they had wasn't built to last. Sometimes life throws you curveballs, but this time I swung back, and I didn't just make contact, I knocked it out of the park.